In this video, we're going to have a look at how to calculate the total surface area of a rectangular prism. So when we take a rectangular prism and unfold it into its net, we'll get a series of 6 rectangles. Those rectangles are made up of a series of 3 sets of similar rectangles. So each individual rectangle is going to have a corresponding size rectangle within the net. So we can see in the net that we've got 2 corresponding red rectangles, 2 corresponding blue rectangles, and 2 corresponding green rectangles. So when we're calculating the total surface area, we need to calculate the area of 3 of those individual rectangles and then times it by 2. We can do this using the formula total surface area equals 2 times the length of the prism times the height plus the length of the prism times the width plus the width of the prism times the height. So my formula to calculate the total surface area of a rectangular prism is 2 times the length times height plus length times width plus width times height of the prism. Now let's have a look at how to apply this formula to an example. So the example is asking me to calculate the total surface area of the rectangular prism. Now the first step I need to do is write down the key information I need to be able to use my formula. And that information is the length of the prism, the width of the prism, and the height of the prism. So I'm going to go back and have a look at my shape, and I'm going to determine that the length of my prism is 20 centimeters, the width of my prism is 5 centimeters, and the height of my prism is 10 centimeters. Now with rectangular prisms, it doesn't really matter what the length, the width and the height is, as long as you've identified the 3 measurements and have listed them separately as either the length, the width or the height. It doesn't matter in the sense that you're going to get the same answer if you substitute those 3 values into the formula correctly. So the next step is going to be to write down the formula that I am going to use. So total surface area is equal to 2 times, and then we've got the length times the height, plus the length times the width, plus the width times the height. So once I've written down my formula, I can go ahead and substitute my values in. So I've got 2 times the length times the height, so 20 times 10, plus the length times the width, so 20 times 5, and then plus the width times the height, so 5 times 10. So I can go ahead and put that into my calculator, or I can solve it step by step. So if I do the brackets first, it'll become 2 times 350, which equals 700 centimeters squared. So the total surface area of the rectangular prism in my example is 700 centimeters squared.